My name is Charlotte Bechtel. I serve in Utah as the missionary with Biblical Ministries Worldwide. I grew up in Clarksville. I'm the oldest of 5 children. I grew up in a Christian home. Trusted Christ as my Savior about 7 years old in Vacation Bible School. And always thought somewhat of being a missionary, mostly thinking of a foreign field. However, after graduation from Bible school, I took a mission trip to Idaho and Utah and was introduced to the needs among the Mormon people in Idaho and Utah. And then I applied to the mission in 1964 and moved out in January of 1965. Got an apartment that was furnished. I didn't have much to take with me, so I had a furnished apartment, little apartment. It was in a resort town, small town, but I started having children's Bible clubs in several of the towns around. And I would teach them, and then also I had ladies' Bible studies and worked with a youth group. It was a church plant that our mission was planting in Lava, and I was working through that. So some of those towns now that I had Bible clubs in do have churches. I can't say it's from me, but maybe some seeds were planted during that time. So. But in 1987 also, another group started a Christian radio station in Provo, Utah, and there were volunteers there. So the pastor thought I should maybe be a volunteer there, so I was volunteering part of the day, I think about once a week or twice a week, and just going in volunteering. They taught me how to run the board. Back then they had carts that they played the music on, and a lot different than it is now. And then in 1988, this group from Houston that was running it and owning it wanted to not have it any longer. So they were looking for an owner, and my pastor, missionary pastor, was trying to see if Moody would take it or somebody else. We really weren't in the radio business. We were church planters. And so, couldn't find anybody. And we've always thought radio would be a good way to reach Mormons because they could listen in their privacy of their home or their car. And so we approached the board, and a couple of them came out to Utah, and we talked about it. And my pastor said, well, he would be the manager. And I said, well, I've only been here a year. I'm not plugged into a bunch of classes or anything. I would volunteer and help, and I'd already knew a little bit about it. So the board decided to take the radio station, and then it became more full-time than we expected. He had to resign from the church to be the manager, and so it was a full-time job.
From the Key Radio Studios in Provo, Utah, and broadcasting live throughout Utah County, Sevier County, South Central Utah, Carbon County, and the Uinta Basin, it's your good friend.
Well, our desire is always to reach more people. And one of our stations, we have 4 stations, and the Price Station is located on a church building, which means it limits how many people can hear because we're in a mountainous area. And so one of the dreams, and looks like it's going to be taken place, is to get the transmitter and tower up on a mountain, and it looks like God's providing that. So that's one of the dreams. We would go from 2,000 to 80,000, I think it is, people that would be potential listeners. So the desire is always to reach more people, but reach them with the gospel. You can get that feeling almost that it's impossible, that what's the use? But there are those that come to know the Lord. It just takes a while, and we have people that have come to know the Lord, not masses, but one by one they'll come to know the Lord. And so, it's worth it. It's worth it to be there and to share the gospel. I want to thank all of the churches and all the people for their prayers and for their finances all these years. It's been almost 55 years of support and faithfulness to me, and I'm just so thankful for all of you for being all in and supporting me in such a great way. And the praise goes to the Lord, but I do thank you for allowing Him to use you for our ministry in Utah.